What's up, you guys? Teddy Striker here, and UFC Macau is happening this Saturday. Petr is taking on Deiveson Figueiredo, and it's actually a really good fight night card. It is going to start way earlier than usual. It's basically going to be on European time for American fans, and yeah, it's going to be real early. So yeah, just make sure you guys tune in. Maybe you might have to stay up all night or something like that, but yeah, it's gonna be very late. But in this video, I want to give my predictions for this card and give a quick breakdown for the main event. But with that being said, let's get right into the card. And the first I want to talk about and give my prediction for is Zhang Mingyang versus Oezir Diaz. And in this fight, I got Zhang Mingyang winning by a second round TKO. I think that he's a solid prospect. He's got a lot of power in his hands. He was pretty good on road to the UFC, that show that the UFC does sometimes. He had a good fight on there. And then in his UFC debut, he was like kind of getting tagged up by the dude. Like the dude, he had like a good range, good reach and everything. But eventually he was able to trade with him, and he showed to have a lot of power in his hands and put his opponent away. Now see Diaz, like the first time I saw him fight was on the Contender Series against Joe Pyfer, and he got knocked out. And I think that the same thing is going to happen. He is going to get dropped in this one. I think that he is going to find his jab early in the fight, but once he starts getting comfortable and, landing that jab, he might make some same mistakes he did in the Joe Pyfer, because in the Joe Pyfer fight, he threw like a naked body shot, and Joe Pyfer just countered him and knocked him out. And I could see something similar happening, but I got Zhang Mingyang winning by a second round KO. And then we've got Oezir versus Carlos Oberen. In this one, I got Carlos Oberen beating Volkan. I think that Oberen is a really good striker. He's got good distance management, and he is pretty fast for a light heavyweight, and he is going to target the leg of Volkan Oezir, which Oezir kind of has like a better boxing stance, where he's heavy on his, stance and heavy on his legs. And I think that Carlos Oberen is going to have the speed advantage. He's going to be able to outstrike Volkan and, stay at range, move around, and rinse and repeat. And I don't see him getting a finish, because Volkan is actually kind of getting better. He's making like a resurgence. But I think that Carlos Oberen is going to win a decision here, 29-28. But Volkan is dangerous, so Oberen is going to have to be careful. He has been slept before by Kennedy and Zinchuku. So yeah, he's going to have to be careful, but I think that he is going to be able to control the distance, control the exchanges, and win the fight. Then we got Wang versus Gabriela Fernandez, and in this one I got Wang winning this one. She was a former kickboxer / Muay Thai fighter, and she actually has a win over Valentina Shevchenko, and I think she is a really exciting prospect. She had like the Joker face paint and everything, and yeah, I think that she's a great fighter. Gabriela Fernandez, I think that she's not a bad fighter, but she just lacks activity. Sometimes like fight IQ, feel like she could do more, but she maybe doesn't know how to go about like winning fights and things like that. Maybe just shows lack of fight IQ. But I got Wang winning, and hopefully she makes her way up to the female flyweight title, so we can see Valentina versus her again in MMA this time. But I think she'll win by a third round TKO. And then we got Son Kenan versus Muslim Salikov. And Muslim Salikov, he is, 40 years old. He is getting up there in age. And I feel like Son Kenan is going to beat him in this one. I mean, yeah, Muslim Salikov is very impressive for, still being able to perform relatively well at his age. But I think that Son Kenan is just going to be able to, stay safe from the kicks, use his boxing quite a bit, use maybe a couple leg kicks here and there. And I think he's going to get himself a decision win. I wouldn't be surprised if Muslim Salikov won, but I think that Son Kenan should get this one done by decision. Then we got the co-main event, which is Yang Xiaonan versus Tabata Ricci. And this fight doesn't really make too much sense to me, because Yang Xiaonan is ranked number 2 at strawweight, and Tabata Ricci just came off a controversial win over Angela Hill. and she's ranked number 10. So I don't know why the UFC's trying to rush to Batavici, but I think it's going to backfire in this case because I think that Yang Xiaonan is the bigger fighter. First of all, she's the better striker, and she does have pretty good grappling as shown against like Zhang Weili. And she did get taken down and beat up by Carla Esparza, but I think that she has made improvements since then, and I think that she is going to be able to comfortably beat Tabata Ricci. I thought that, Tabata Ricci was probably going to get someone like maybe an Amanda Ribas, maybe an Amanda Lemos, someone like that. But, giving her the second or the third best fighter in the world who just fought for the title, that is a little bit strange to me. But I think that Yang Xiaonan is going to win this comfortably. Then we got the main event, Deiveson Figueiredo versus Petr Yan. This is going to be a great fight. When they're both champions in 2020, I felt like this was like a dream fight, and it was super exciting because Deiveson Figueiredo was a force in the flyweight division. He had gone out there and destroyed David Benavidez. He destroyed Alex Perez. I thought he beat Brandon Moreno the first time, and obviously Petr Yan beat up Jose Aldo, and then he destroyed Aljamain Sterling, but then he kneed him in the face. So unfortunately, we never got to see the super fight back then, but now that Deiveson Figueiredo is moving up to the bantamweight division, we're getting to see it. And it's kind of unfortunate that it's happening now because I don't think that Deiveson Figueiredo is in his prime anymore. And I think that's why he's going to lose this fight. I think that he does leave some openings on the feet because Deiveson is used to being a tank. He's used to be able to bully opponents, but leaving himself wide open while he's still in punching range against a guy like Petr Yan is very dangerous because Petr Yan does hit pretty hard. And also, Petr Yan has some dangerous combinations, and he'll shift from southpaw to orthodox or orthodox to southpaw to transition into those combinations. And I think that could be very dangerous for Deiveson, who just kind of tends to leave himself open for combinations, in my opinion. And I think that Figueiredo is going to, obviously try to take Petr Yan down. He's, improved his grappling. He's showed his grappling in all his bantamweight fights so far. And I think he will have success with it early on in the fight. And even if Petr Yan does actually just pop right back up after you take him down, that's okay because it just helps set up your striking. And Deiveson has a lot of power in his hands. And just getting that threat on Petr Yan's mind is going to be huge. And, Petr Yan, whenever he was going up against, guys who were going to take him down, he did have a tendency to drop his head whenever they were, feint takedowns and things like that. And Deiveson Figueiredo has, like I said, a lot of power, and he can set up a devastating uppercut and potentially knock Petr Yan out. And also, I think the leg kicks are going to be there for him. Deiveson has some great leg kicks, and Petr Yan has been hurt by some leg kicks in the past. But overall, I think that Deiveson Figueiredo's downfall is going to be his cardio and his chin. I don't really trust in those things. If, this was back in 2020, I actually wouldn't mind Deiveson Figueiredo's chances. But also, in the clinch, I think that Petr Yan is going to have an advantage. He's very, very dangerous in the clinch. And I could even see him dropping Deiveson in the clinch. And Deiveson loves a clinch. Every time he's under pressure, he goes into it. Maybe he kind of panics into it. And I think that might be dangerous against a guy like Petr Yan. And also, one thing I thought about is even when Deiveson is going to be moving laterally, because I see Petr Yan pushing him back in this fight, I feel like Petr Yan could intercept that movement with a wheel kick or maybe just a regular head kick. But I think that Petr Yan is going to get a finish over Deiveson Figueiredo. I'm going to say in the 4th round by TKO after maybe a tough round 1. But then in round 2, I think Petr Yan is going to make some adjustments and start to punish Deiveson Figueiredo and start to figure him out a bit. And Figgy could win the 2nd round, but then as the 3rd round goes on, I think it's just going to get progressively worse for Deiveson Figueiredo. This is a good fight. This would have been a good fight when they were both in their primes, but I'm so glad we're getting it now.